What do you think you look like? Do you really think you can meet the Russian delegation looking like that? Go back to your rooms. Did you just look at me? Look at me! How dare you! Close your eyes!
That dude was like, man, fuck this. Hope my application to Amazon went through. Now, this is one of those movies that they put out there. You know, it's a period piece. It's kind of a lofty art house movie. And what you're dealing with here is, in this movie, you have this woman. No other in the land is closer to the ear of Queen Anne than the Duchess of Marlborough. But that could soon all change when a common maid starts to eye her position. And now you're already saying, oh, I don't want to hear all this old uppity British shit. All these people walking around these gowns and crowns and royalty. Man, I'm going to see Aquaman again.
Which is the same thing.
I'm just saying, except with less water. It's just that on dry land. Yeah, I don't want to look at all that. Man, you're talking to the wrong person. I'm looking at all that pretentious British art house shit. Well, you know something? There might, look, just get some culture just once in your life, please, before the year is done. I mean, there just might be a reason why people are saying that this is possibly one of the best movies of the year. Let's go ahead and take a look at the trailer, and then Martin and myself will be back with our review.
Look at me! How dare you! Close your eyes! I could not just stand by and let you destroy me.
Man, let me tell you something. You are absolutely correct. This is some old art house, period piece, British drama bullshit. But imagine if somebody took one of those and it was actually remade by a bunch of shitty, smart-ass high school girls. Yeah, because, you know, listen, but it's actually good, you know?
Yeah.
Because,
when you just said that, I was like, that doesn't sound good.
No, imagine if some smart-ass, like, little high school girls with attitudes, with these little funky-ass attitudes, actually took something, actually tried to make it something that you would make fun of and accidentally made something that was good.
Yeah.
Because it has that really catty high school kind of pettiness to it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. No, it's a dark comedy. It's dark to say the least. And these women, especially these two, really all three of them, they're just bitches to each other.
They are.
It's all a movie with people conniving against each other, trying to be polite, and yet in their face doing it.
Oh man, that's you have everything that you would see in these things. I mean, you have, you know, this is one of those royal dramas, right down to, you know, women walking around with robes and crowns on, as you see right there. You know, of aristocrats and royalty acting high and mighty, better than thou. But you have the same power plays too. But imagine instead of those power plays that you see in other dramas like this, where instead of putting a knife to somebody's back, they actually like, no, I'm talking shit to your face.
Right. But I'm saying it in a polite way.
Yeah.
In front of company, so there's only so much you can do.
Oh, yeah. And
here and now.
Oh, and they talk.
But don't think you're not going to get paid back.
Oh, yeah. Don't think because they're talking in this, you know, in this high British accents and fashions that they can't talk shit. They talk mad shit to each other. They get, it's almost like playing the dozens. People get mad. People get mad, throw tables over. And when you see them doing it, they get mad because that one thing about British people talking shit, at least in these times, in this royal environment, they talking with their nostril hairs looking right at you, and they just stay as calm as you ain't shit. And people lose it, and they do just petty things, man. Instead of taking somebody out into the darkness to threaten them or assassinate them, you know, they take them out to the darkness to talk some smart ass plan to them, and then they just do little petty things like push them into a ditch.
Yeah. I mean, it's a real power play. It's just like, hey, I'm talking to you like we're allies, but just so you know, I am above you and I can squash you like that.
And then to drive it home, they push you into a ditch.
Yeah.
I don't need, like, even the actress is in the ditch. Somebody, is this in the script?
Right.
This motherfucker just pushed me. Because they actually lay there for a little while. Like, why am I looking at the sky right now? We were just talking.
You do not expect that.
Because
I had to stop and rewind it. I was like, wait, what? Did I miss something? What just happened?
There were several moments I rewound this. Like, that was just weird. that came out of nowhere.
I got it. I was like, okay, I see the point it's making, but it's just wow.
No, weird moments like that in the movie give the film this unpredictability about it.
It gives it an edge.
Yeah, it gives it an edge. You're like, when you sit on your when you watch certain movies, when you're watching thrillers and dramas, you're kind of on the edge of your seat to see what's going to happen next, and you're usually waiting for something that's pretty heavy, like a death. Or some betrayal. No, you're just waiting to see how somebody's just going to be shitty to another person.
Yeah.
How somebody's going to like just be kind of childish with another person, because all these people are like that. And it's very surreal at times, man. That's one of the things that really helps the movie out, is that they're just things that happen with no explanation in the movie. There are things that seem out of place for these times, but they do it anyway. Like that scene when they were.
With the dance,
like you see these period pieces where they dance in the chamber and they all do that, step 1 2, step 1 2, and they twirl around each other.
Choreographed.
And in this one, they have a Soul Train dance line going on. Even the queen was just like, "Stop it! Stop it! This is not for this period."
It's that American stuff right there.
Yeah, man.
But it's weird because it feels out of place and yet it doesn't.
Right.
Because just to look at it right there out of context, you go like, all right, they're just messing around. Mm-hmm. But it does fit within what they've built here, because there's several scenes that are shot with a fisheye lens, and it just gives it that surreal feeling. But it doesn't pull you out of the movie. Mm-hmm. You're just kind of like, whoa, okay, all right, this is where I am now. None of it's alien, but you don't expect it.
You just go. It's a world of its own, man.
And surprisingly, even with stuff like that, the film is mostly historically accurate.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, because they tell you these things about, they explore the further relationships. Rachel Weisz is the Duchess of Marlborough, and she has, I don't want to say too much because I'm not going to tell you who, but there's something about her relationship with the Queen that you don't see actually coming up at some point. Like they actually show you. That's one of the great things about the movie too. They show you these gradual relationships as they happen. Like you don't know what's going to happen, because these people are being so bitter towards each other and trying to do these power plays on each other that you don't know to what level they're friends or their allies or their enemies. I mean, they're constantly bickering at one moment, and then they're constantly like seem like they're siding with each other, and it's a nice twist throughout the film. He keep going down this way. It's almost like a parody of royal period dramas, but yet the narrative in it is taken very seriously.
Yeah,
I mean, these characters are real enough that they pull you into their struggles,
and so much so that as you watch, your allegiance to different characters changes, because Emma Stone's character, she comes on like her family's been broke and disgraced, and she has to start at the bottom, like less than a scullery maid,
right,
and works her way up. So you can't help but root for her. But the longer it goes on, you go like, well, shit, she might be the worst one out of all of them.
Yeah,
and you kind of like, well, but then again, maybe she's not.
Yeah, you really don't know, man, because these people are constantly going at each other, and and it's all because of the performances that you have in this movie. It's from mainly your three female leads that are actually carrying the film very well. Rachel Weisz, as I said, is the Weisz. Rachel Weisz. Say it like a Nazi. Rachel Weisz.
There's no V in that name.
Who is, as I said, the Duchess of Marlborough. I like her, man. She's confident, but she's when I say people are talking shit to each other, she's the one that enjoys getting under people's skin the most. She's the one that enjoys seeing people lose their cool. She enjoys taking down people a little bit, which is why it's so cool to see Emma Stone come in, because Emma Stone is the one that she tries at first. And plus, you just kind of root for a person because you know how these you know how these how the hierarchy goes in these,
Sure.
in these British period pieces. They don't mind treating you like dirt.
No,
Because they really want you to know what your place is.
and she gets treated like dirt for the beginning of this movie.
Oh, at the beginning, I mean, she literally has dirt on her when she comes in, and they treat her like that from the start. And and they're talking down to her. They're just, again, just because they have the power to do so, just tugging her back and forth. And you're the one that want to see her go in and take all these people down from all their high and mightiness that you see.
Well, you cannot have hot chocolate. Your stomach, the sugar inflames it.
Abigail, hand me that cup.
Do not.
I'm sorry, I do not know what to do. Take me back.
And that's Olivia Colman who couldn't have the hot cocoa, and you can see that Rachel Weisz is actually treating her like her mother, and the reason why, even though this is what I love about this relationship right here, even though the queen is the one that's holding all the power, she is going through a major inferiority complex, or this complex about her self-image.
Sure.
And
she's sick all the time. She's gained a bunch of weight.
yeah, what's going on with her legs, man? Because you can even see it right here. Her legs are bleeding.
She's got extreme gout.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks bad too.
Yeah.
They're putting meat on her legs to like try to soak in the blood and cover up the wounds, and man, she's having a bad time, and then she's going insane, and she can even be a monster at times, because it doesn't help that she's already got a low self-image, and people around her who she feels like are the closest to her are the ones telling her, yeah, you ugly. You don't know how to this is you're going to talk to people looking like this. And when she goes insane and just turns into a monster, just lashing out at people, it's sad and it's funny at the same time, because you get where it's coming from.
Sure.
You actually feel kind of sorry for her.
What do you think you look like? Do you really think you can meet the Russian delegation looking like that? Go back to your rooms. Did you just look at me? Look at me! How dare you! Close your eyes!
That dude was like, man, fuck this. Hope my application to Amazon went through. Quitting this job tomorrow. Fuck this bitch. Nah, man. And she has so many outbursts like that throughout the film. That's another thing that makes it so unpredictable. Is it just, at what moment is she just gonna lose it? Because at first she's kind of like a spoiled brat because she is the queen. Then you realize, man, people are just kind of taking advantage of her at anytime they can get, at the worst time in her life right now.
Yes, people are. I mean, that's kind of comes with the job, with being in charge of things, is that you sort of don't know who to trust, because everybody, it's to their advantage to be on your side, to have your ear. Mm-hmm. And yeah, they're taking advantage of her. But with Rachel Weisz's character, it's like she's taking advantage of her insecurities, but at the same time, she is looking out for her. Even that thing she said to her, like, you don't need to have that. It's like, yeah, it's kind of shitty how she said it, but she is right.
Yeah, no, that's the great thing that I think goes on with the script, is that while these characters, while they might seem a little exaggerated, somehow they've managed to take these characters, which they are a little exaggerated, but also make them real people. Mm-hmm. I mean, they I guess there are kind of layers to them that keep you going with them too. They're complex characters, and that's a really cool thing to pull with this movie. These characters that seem almost like comedy figures are actually very complex and well written characters. Yes,
no one is a hero. No one is a straight villain.
No, and that's what I was talking about with the relationships here. That's why the relationships become they keep taking these twists and turns. You never know what these people are to each other. Are they using each other? Do they really like each other? You don't know. You don't know what is for personal gain and what's sincere. I'll tell you one person who's in here, and Olivia Colman is who plays Queen Anne. She is the one that really takes the movie, man. For me, I think that she has to give the most sympathetic performance in the movie. Because of the way her character was written, I have to say I probably enjoyed watching some of the other people, but she drew the most emotion out of me. I think that she gave probably the most challenging performance, and thus the best performance in the film.
Okay, I can see that.
Did you like somebody better?
No, actually, between the three leads, I like them all equally. And I maybe I like Rachel Weisz a little bit more, but it's just the way her character was written.
Yeah, the way the moment her character came on, I was really into it. Like I said, she just has a real confidence that just kind of makes you want to hear her, makes you want to follow her.
Yeah, she makes you want to follow her. At times, you want her to get taken down. At times, you're like, no, she's right. She needs to come. She needs to win this thing.
Yeah, man. And I'm gonna tell you that the person here who I don't think is not getting the attention they deserve. So I'm typing in something I forgot to actually bring up in reference to this movie. But Nicholas Hoult, man. Nicholas Hoult. Now, the funny thing about Nicholas Hoult in the movie, he's almost like the Joker. He don't take that makeup off. You might not even know that's him, man, because he never takes that wig off. He he puts more makeup on. And if y'all know who Nicholas Hoult is, he's the dude that played Beast Man.
Beast.
I'm sorry, that's he, man.
Yeah.
He played Fireface. No, he plays Beast in X-Men
movies. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Mad Max.
That's right. He is in Mad Max.
Yeah.
Almost again unrecognizable.
Yeah.
I like Nicholas Hoult anyway. I think he's an underrated actor, but in this movie, he's almost like, I love him because he's like he's almost like that gay friend and everybody. Like, it's not cool to say you don't like gay people because you don't be accused of being a homophobe, but you're like, no, fuck this dude.
But not that guy.
No, not him. But it's not like you dislike him. I mean, in fact, I would say, well, I say in fact, but my opinion is that I think you would enjoy watching him because there's so many times that he gets taken down with other people. Things are just rubbed in his face.
I didn't like him at all. Nicholas Hoult, I think, did a fantastic job. Because as much as I was like changed how I felt about each of the three women, with him, it was a constant.
Yeah,
I
man.
don't like you.
No, he's the one that he's doing the pettiest of petty things in this movie. Yeah, he's just like I said, he's just childish, man. Yeah. He's the one trying to run things and doing the most childish things throughout the film. Mm-hmm. I was like, man, sit your ass down. You ain't running shit. But I loved it because he's the one that threw the biggest temper tantrums. Yeah, he was the one that was always being put in his place by somebody, and I just love seeing him, man, kicking and screaming and getting up and knocking things over. He's really good, man. It's also a beautiful film, man.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, we're talking about all the characters and how well written the movie is, but most of them, it took me a while to get adjusted to it.
Did it?
Yeah, because when you're watching this with that really hyper widescreen format.
Yeah,
and then you start to soak it in, saying, "All right, well then I'm just getting a bigger picture of this beautiful cinematography that's going on, so that's cool." But then it takes a little while to get adjusted to how they're swishing the camera back and forth when they're following characters. You already got this disorienting camera angle or this wide lens that's going on, and then whenever characters come in the room, it just swish past them really quickly. You almost get motion sickness watching this, but after a while, it works into the weirdness of the film. It works into the character of the film.
Honestly, when I saw just the commercials for it, I was excited about going to see it in the theater. Mm-hmm. And then the way the timing was on it, they sent it to us in the mail right before the screening was happening, and I couldn't really get over there, so I had to watch it at home. And the minute I started watching it at home, I was like, damn, I wish I was watching this on the big screen.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind watching this on the big screen myself because it's a lovely film, man. This is some of the best cinematography that they have going on this year. I'm pretty sure, I'm almost definite that this is going to get nominated.
Seriously, this is probably going to get nominated for a lot of stuff, if not everything. I expect all these actresses, the director, the cinematography, costumes, all of it.
Costumes, yeah. The artistry behind the film is really good. And I just bring this picture up right here. I'm just going to rush to get out today, and I forgot to bring this up, but I love this director,
Yorgos Lanthimos.
Yeah, and I'm not being biased towards this. Let me see if I can find. Now, how'd you say his name, Martin?
Yorgos Lanthimos. Is that right?
Man, that's a fucking Bond villain himself.
Well, it's Greek.
Is it?
But so is Blofeld.
It's still villainous, though.
Yeah.
And shit, he even takes villainous ass pictures, man. Look at that. I'll kill you, Mr. Bond. No, I love this director, man. And he's kind of a day after director for me because after all the movies that I've seen that he's done.
Oh.
I have watched him, and I'm like, man, I don't know how I feel about this. And I've even at sometimes said, man, this all pretentious, all this shit right here. I got better things to do. Yeah, make a movie, man. Quit trying to trivialize quit playing with my head. But then the next day, that movie will still be with me, man, and I'll still be thinking about it. Like this movie in particular, I woke up the next day because when I was watching it, it was kind of dry for me. And it felt like it was kind of full of itself, and it seemed like it thought itself precious in its humor. And then the next day, I was still laughing about things in this movie. I woke up laughing about stuff I was thinking about in this movie because they were so bizarre.
Oh, this movie?
Yeah, and this movie here, like man, I said that's one of the things, that dancing scene. I just woke up one day thinking about that. I'm like, this is, I love it when somebody can create their own world and still tell a story and still keep it kind of historical.
Well, I understand the effect you're talking about. I didn't have so much that, but I can say with some of his other movies, like The Lobster, that was one where I was just kind of like, yeah, I see what it's doing, but it's not really for me. And then with his next movie, The Killing of a Sacred Deer, now that I was a bit more integrated to his style, I was like, all right, I get this one. I like this one a little better. Now, when we come to this current movie, The Favorite, all right, now I'm on board. I see what he's all about, what his style is. So I was able to accept it right off the bat.
Yeah.
And I think of all his movies, this is the most accessible.
Well, I didn't really like his first movie. It took his other movies for me to get used to.
Was it Dogtooth? Because I never saw that one.
You would not like it, Martin. I'm telling you right now. His first movie, Dogtooth, is very disorienting. It's you're spending time with this really weird family that's being challenged to do all these crazy, like it's disturbing. This family is challenging their kids to do all these crazy games. Some of those games involve self-mutilation and hurting each other. And yeah, it's
Is that Daddy-O-5?
Yeah, man, you know what? And today, it's funny, it would fit right in. As long as they just made a YouTube video about it. But watching it at the time, I was like, man, this is just being weird and cruel just for the sake of it. I'm not really liking this. But after watching The Lobster, I realized that this is a guy who he really does create his own worlds, man, within certain genres. The Lobster is sort of a fantasy parable. And I didn't like it when I was first looking at it, but it haunted me after I watched it, especially the last scene. And I really started to like that movie a lot afterwards. And then it only took The Killing of a Sacred Deer, which is a horror movie. It's kind of his own take, his own vision, his own world and style applied to a horror film.
One more thing, I'm really sorry about Bob.
It's nothing serious.
No, it is. Bob will die, Kim will die, your wife will die. Understand?
And he has this style, and this is important to mention, he has this style where everything is soulless. All these people have a way of delivering lines with no emotion at all. And I thought it worked well for The Lobster for what he tried to do, and I thought it worked very well for a horror film. It made it more disturbing.
It worked for me better with this than it did with The Lobster. With The Lobster, I was like, okay, I'm over it. Can we get some emotion in here?
Yeah, but this just made it scary because it made it made it so otherworldly. I mean, just without the horror element even coming in, the frightening element coming in, it's just, you feel scared just being around these people.
Yeah.
Like pod people.
And I'm screaming like, you don't see this kid is weird? Get him out of your house.
Because we're all weird.
Right.
Weird is normal here. But it did start to get to me. The more I liked his movies, the more I start to see the trend of all these people who had this soulless way of talking. I was like, all right, man, if this is your one style that you do, it's getting kind of old now. And I thought for his next movie is going to be the one to prove whether he can't do anything outside of, because now I'm beginning to think that you just don't know how to direct actors. You know what I'm saying? I just think you tell these people not to read with no emotion because you don't want to have any bad line readings. And came back right at that moment. He must have heard me because he's like, all right, I got something else. And this has a lot of emotion in it. It's so different from what he has done before.
Yeah.
And it's making me fall in love with this director more and more, man. He's making him one of my favorite directors out there. The con here being that while we're talking about people who don't like these kind of films, these heavy, dramatic period pieces, I don't think this is going to change your mind. I don't think there's anything that's going to make you, even though the humorous approach that they do with this, almost approaching this as a parody of those kind of movies. I don't think it's going to appeal to anybody outside of that. It's still going to be dry for you. It's still going to be a little heavy-handed, maybe, possibly. It's not. It's for the right people. I know who to enjoy this with, and there are certain people who, if you like a particular kind of genre of film, I'm probably not going to recognize this. I'll recommend this to you. So that it's still in that area, even though it expands beyond that. You know what I'm saying? How would you feel about that?
See, I feel not quite the opposite, but I do feel like if you're somebody who goes like, I don't like period pieces, I would say, okay, tell you what, try this one. I think there's a good shot this one might change your mind, because it does what, you know, some period pieces I love, but every so often I come across those that are just, they're pretty dry. And I didn't think this one was dry at all, because it starts getting to it right off the bat. And so there's not a whole lot of boring setup or even spaces in between. Yeah. It's constantly going, and there's always something happening. Yeah. Even if, I don't mean it's always action. I mean, even just, because like when I say a movie gets dull, it's not like I need a car chase or a fight every so often, but to have interesting dialogue, and this has that. Yeah, yeah. It took me a day or so, man, to think about this movie, but the more I thought about it, the more I really started to love this film. It is absolutely one of my favorite movies this year. I appreciate, and this is going to be, you have to understand that this is on a personal level. This is not me being a pretentious critic. You know that I love movies that take such a different approach from what other filmmakers do. You know, I love movies that much, and I see so many of them. And I see a director who's able to create his own world and not be so deep into it that he's up his own ass that he can't actually, or she can't actually make something for the people too. Then that's where I draw the line. But this one gets that right as far as I'm concerned. For the right crowd, for the people who really do appreciate this kind of cinema, for people who really do appreciate the unique vision that a director has, I give this a better than sex. Now, for most people, I would even just say full price. But, you know, like I said, I'm really impressed with this film, man. It's sticking with me, and it's from a filmmaking standpoint, that's where it is for me. I won't go so high as a better than sex, but I will give it a very high full price. Yeah, and for all the reasons that you named, it's one where I say, look, and if you look at this and you think this isn't for me, this is one where I feel confident enough to say, hey, give it a chance. And people, you got to understand, because y'all gonna just look at, you just gonna see words and just be like, oh, he hated Aquaman, but he gave this pretentious bullshit better than sex. You got to understand, I'm talking about strictly from a filmmaking point of view. And when I'm not talking about I'm gonna turn down sex to go watch this movie. All right, you know, I'm just giving a rating, okay? You really think we mean that shit? We said no. I'm just the filmmaking is so beautiful here. It is. It's real filmmaking. It's real writing. Yeah, exactly. And this has been a year where it's been tough to see that all work like it is. Yeah, it's weird, because I really thought the way this year was going, I was like, man, it's going to be one of the best years. And now we're coming to the end of it. I'm like, it's kind of tough to pick out a top 20 of movies. Yeah, and this is not something I'll probably will watch it again, but I'm not talking about I'm going to be like looking at this every night and jacking off to it or something. You know, I'm going to no. Wait, who's accusing you of that? Somebody will. I'm just jumping in right now. But you know, and like I said, the movie, like there's so many weird things in the film, and yet it still makes sense. Yeah, I know that when I watch it again, I'm going to see stuff that I didn't even see the first time. Like a character wakes up in a whorehouse, and there's people just fucking all over the place, in weird places, in corners. It's like animals, man. You know, but this director has managed to bring it in. I'm not recommending everybody go out and see this. I'm giving you this from the standpoint. No, take your parents. No, please do, and then taking a Spider-Man. Nah, man, do it a double feature with Mary Poppins. Yeah, but you see what I'm talking about when we saw Mary Queen of Scots, where I was like, after just seeing this, it's hard to watch this and give it a high rating. I should do, man. It kind of put that movie to shame. Yeah, what they do with it. Yeah. I'm not even saying rush out and see this. I'm strictly from filmmaking. Y'all would take this shit and run with it. But he said, he told me to see this shit. I ain't telling you to see nothing. I'm telling you what I. All right.